Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right, we're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go!
I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
Levi and Ivy ran toward the park with their superhero capes flying in the breeze behind them. It was a full day of possibilities and adventures awaiting around every corner. Levi and Ivy had put on their capes and superhero masks that morning with one thing in mind: to help those in need, especially if those in need had 4 paws, feathers, or scaly skin. Separately, they were just Levi and Ivy, but that day they joined forces and were the unstoppable duo of the awesome animal superheroes. Their mission was to help all their animal friends in need, and they thought the park would be a great place to start. "Follow me, Levi," called out Ivy as she ran across the park bench and leapt into the air. "I think I see an animal friend in need over there at the pond." "I'm right behind you, Ivy," answered Levi as he turned on his super speed and ran to catch up with his sister. Once at the pond, they noticed a few turtles sunning themselves on a rock in the middle of the water. All seemed fine until they noticed a few ripples making their way across the pond. That's when they saw a little turtle frantically trying to get to the rock to join its friends. He was much smaller than the rest and was having trouble getting to the rock. When he finally reached it, he was too little and too tired to make it all the way to the top. Levi and Ivy knew just what to do and jumped into action. "No need to fear, little buddy. The awesome animal superheroes are here to help," said Ivy as she hopped from rock to rock to get closer to the turtle in trouble. Levi watched from the shore, cheering on his sister. Once she got close enough to the turtle, she used a long stick to gently push it up onto the rock. The turtle looked so relieved and happy to join its friends. That's when Levi and Ivy knew their job was done. "Great job, Ivy," called out Levi as he gave Ivy a high five. "Thanks, Levi. You get the next one, okay?" said Ivy, fixing her superhero mask. Levi immediately started looking around to see who the awesome animal superheroes could help next, and it didn't take long to find someone. The sound of rustling in the leaves nearby got Levi's attention. As he investigated the noise, he saw a little bird hopping around on the ground. He looked scared. After looking into the tree he was standing under, Levi figured out that the little bird must have fallen out of its nest. "No need to fear, little birdie," said Levi. "I'll get you back in your nest in no time." But before Levi could help, the little bird began to hop away further into the forest and lined the edge of the park. Levi and Ivy couldn't let him hop away from home, so they followed behind closely. The bird moved faster and faster, even trying to fly now and then. As he hopped along, Levi and Ivy lost sight of the park and were now completely surrounded by towering trees in the forest. It was then that the bird stopped, but now it didn't look scared anymore. Instead, it looked quite happy. "What's going on here?" giggled Levi as if he was talking to the bird. "Why did you lead us all the way out here?" Maybe that's why," said Ivy, pointing at a big iron gate that stood wrapped in vines, almost invisible. "Wow," said Levi in a low voice. "That must be the old entrance to the park. Dad told me that when he was a kid, the entrance took you through this big forest." Levi and Ivy then heard the little bird chirping and tweeting to get their attention. Once he did, he hopped over to the gate and disappeared behind it. "We need to see where he's going," said Ivy. "Totally," answered Levi. "He definitely wants us to follow him." So without hesitation, the awesome animal superheroes walked behind the big iron gate, and what they saw next was something out of a comic book. A swirl of wind and a flash of bright lights hit them both immediately. That's when they realized that this was no ordinary gate, but instead a magic portal to an amazing comic book universe where they no longer were Levi and Ivy, but now truly were the awesome animal superheroes. The little bird now flew around them with grace and ease. Levi and Ivy were still taking everything in as he zipped around. There were massive skyscrapers of every color imaginable and futuristic flying cars zooming all around. Everyone was dressed in amazing clothes, and the bright lights of neon signs blinked on and off, creating a kaleidoscope effect that was amazing to see. "So I guess you're wondering why I brought you here," chirped the little bird. Levi and Ivy had so many things to take in that a talking bird didn't even surprise them at that point. "Hi, what exactly is this place and why are we here?" asked Ivy, looking at their new feathered friend. "Well, first, my name is Titan, and this is Bright City. It's pretty easy to see how it got its name, said Titan with a giggle. I brought you two here because the animals of Bright City need your help. There are superheroes all around for people that live here, but no superheroes looking out for the furry, feathery, scaly critters that call this place home. I found this magic portal in the forest one day, flew into the park, saw you helping animals, and I thought you would be a perfect fit here. It was a lot to take in, but Levi and Ivy were so flattered and excited that Titan chose them to be there. They loved nothing more than helping animals, and to be able to do it all the time would be amazing. Let's not waste any more time, began Ivy, looking at Levi with a big smile. How and who can we help? Titan smiled, and then he had something else to tell them. First, you should get familiar with your new superpowers. Awesome. Do I have flying powers? Asked Levi, trying to fly and falling to the ground. Or maybe invisibility powers? Nope, I can still see you, answered Ivy. Aw, man. What are my superpowers? Asked Levi out loud as he spun around quickly and a trash can in front of him flew across the street. But before it sailed into the side of a building, Levi looked at it and shouted, "Stop!" And it did. The trash can gently lowered itself to the ground, and that's when Levi knew. I have the ability to control objects with my mind? He shouted. That is so cool. I can't wait to see what you can do, Ivy. Ivy looked around and noticed she couldn't move things with her mind. She couldn't fly, she wasn't invisible, and she didn't have super strength. However, as she stood there, she saw a little squirrel running across the power lines above the city street. He got startled by a car below and fell. Ivy locked eyes on the squirrel and immediately knew what to do. She harnessed the power of the breeze blowing by to push the squirrel back onto the power line so he wouldn't fall. I have the ability to use the power of nature around me? Ivy shouted. That's so cool. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go, called out Titan. The awesome animal superheroes then set out to help any animal in need in Bright City. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they didn't know who they would have to face as their journey continued. As they walked along the city streets, the day seemed fairly normal. Aside from the fact that they were walking in a totally magical comic book world. Then all of a sudden, things took a turn. There was a loud rumbling noise and the sidewalk began to shake. What's that? Asked Levi. Not what? Who? Said Titan, pointing down the street. His name is Trap. He wants to clean up Bright City by putting all the animals here inside this huge bubble he built on the edge of the city. They wouldn't be able to roam free, play with friends, or explore the cool city. Anytime he finds an animal just out and about, he scoops it up and puts it in what he calls the bubble. It's not fear. He's just a big meanie. It was then that Levi and Ivy noticed a small dog walking peacefully on the sidewalk ahead of them. Levi quickly jumped into action, using his newfound superpowers to pick up a cardboard box he saw with his mind and gently place it on top of the puppy, just as Trap drove by. After the truck passed by, he ran over to the puppy and removed the box, explaining why he did it. Wow, thank you so much, barked the puppy. If it wasn't for you, I would have been on my way to the bubble for sure. I'm just doing my job, said Levi. And you can tell the rest of the animals that you see that Levi and Ivy, the awesome animal superheroes, are here to help the animals of Bright City. After they said goodbye, Levi and Ivy decided to follow Trap and make sure he wasn't up to no good. Once they did, they quickly found out he was. A bit further down the street, he had discovered a cat playing peacefully on a park bench. Looks like another animal that needs to head to the bubble, Trap muttered as he's stepping out of his truck. Once he started heading over to the cat, Ivy sprang into superhero mode. She quickly controlled the breeze to move the clouds that were covering the sun. The bright sparkling rays hit Trap right in the face, making it impossible for him to see. That gave Levi just enough time to grab the cat and get her out of harm's way. Trap stumbled around trying to shield his eyes. When his vision finally adjusted, he saw that the cat was gone. He grumbled and stomped back to his truck and off he went. Thank you so much for saving me, meowed the cat. There is no way I want to end up in the bubble. It's so boring there, just sitting around all day with nothing to do. The awesome animal superheroes told the cat that they would do all they could to stop Trap and headed off so they wouldn't lose him in the crowd of people moving around the city. Their journey finally took them to the edge of town where they saw the bubble in person, and so many animals trapped inside the giant clear bubble-shaped enclosure. They watched as Trap walked over to the bubble and looked inside. He smiled, but then that quickly returned to the frown Levi and Ivy had seen from him all day. I wish we knew a bit more about Trap, said Ivy. If we just had some information about him, maybe we could figure out why he wants to clear all the animals out of Bright City. Then once we know that, maybe we can figure out a way to get them all out and change Trap's way of thinking, and he'll stop doing this, added Levi. I know a little about him. I heard he wanted to open a pet store in Bright City when they were having a contest where you could have the chance to open your dream business and the city would help pay for everything. Trap lost the vote and he was never the same. He became angry and isolated himself way up here, away from everyone. So, Trap used to love animals? Asked Ivy. And now he's taking them away from the city to be with him way up there? I think that's what's going on, said Levi. Trap still loves animals. He was just so upset about not being able to open his own pet store that he's taking all the animals away from the people that wouldn't help him in Bright City? Levi and Ivy knew exactly what to do now, but it would take all their super strength. First, they had to free all the animals, and then they had to help Trap. They knew he needed someone to talk to and really hoped that he could find another way to work out his feelings. Levi and Ivy set up their plan in motion and crept over to the bubble while Trap was taking a nap. They told the animals inside their plan, and they could have not been happier. Levi focused all of his mental energy to pick up the bubble, while Ivy summoned a huge windstorm to carry it and the animals inside safely back to Bright City. However, just as the bubble was floating away on a gentle breeze, Trap woke up. He ran over to where the bubble used to be, and that's when he saw Levi and Ivy. "What are you doing? Those are my animals," shouted Trap. "They don't belong in Bright City. They belong here with me. Bright City made it very clear that they don't like animals, so I'm doing them a favor and taking them all out of the city." Levi and Ivy knew they had to work quickly to defuse the situation because Trap was getting very mad. They could also tell he was hurting and needed someone to talk to. That's when they introduced themselves and carried out their greatest superhero act that day. Just being a friend. "Trap, we know about the pet store you wanted to open," began Ivy. "And since that didn't work out, you decided to take all the animals from Bright City to get back at the people that live there. No more cute puppies playing in the park, no more kittens sleeping on windowsills, and no more sweet bird songs. It's not fair to the people of Bright City, and it's definitely not fair to the animals who just want to live their lives not trapped in a big bubble," said Levi. Titan couldn't believe what he was seeing. Levi and Ivy were actually getting through to Trap. They were helping him see that what he was doing was wrong, and hopefully that meant he would stop for good. Trap looked down on the ground. He felt embarrassed about the way he'd been acting and so sorry to the animals that he had put in the bubble. "I love animals. I never wanted to hurt anyone or anything," said Trap. "I just felt so hurt that I couldn't open my own pet store and I wanted to run away and take all the animals with me. But now I see that that wasn't the right way to deal with the situation. Thank you two so much for helping me see that." "Wow," whispered Titan to Levi. "You two are great superheroes and great friends." Being a friend and listening is sometimes the hardest thing to do, but it can really make a big difference in someone's life, answered Levi. It was then that Trap, Levi, and Titan headed back to Bright City. At first, everyone was nervous to see Trap, especially the animals. But after the awesome animal superheroes explained what had just happened, everything in Bright City was back to normal. Trap destroyed the bubble and started working at the animal shelter in the city. He now focused all his time on helping any animal in need. The animals and the people of Bright City thanked Levi and Ivy for all they did and said they are welcome back anytime. "Well, I guess you need to be getting home now," said Titan. "I'll show you back to the portal. We are really going to miss you, but it's so nice to know that you're close by if we ever need you again." "Absolutely," said Levi. "The animal superheroes are always ready to help, whenever, wherever we're needed." "Thank you for showing us Bright City, Titan. We'll never forget you either," said Ivy as she and Levi walked through the portal and back into the forest that surrounded the park, taking with them incredible memories of Bright City, where they learned that you can be someone's superhero just by being their friend. Want to start a podcast? Spotify has an easy, free platform called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. Record and edit your podcast on your phone or computer with ease. Share your podcast on Spotify and all other major platforms. You can even make video podcasts on Spotify. If you want to engage with your audience more, use Q&A and polls. You can earn money through ads and podcast subscriptions. It's completely free, no hidden cost. Give it a try. Visit www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. We love making our podcast, and working with Spotify has been amazing. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun, lively Lewis story with you.